There are a lot of people in Brawlhalla, and quite a few of them have a lot to say about the game. From people in Platinum and Diamond to people in literal Paper 2, people always have their own 2 cents to add to the pot when it comes to the game. However, in my opinion, sometimes people are a bit too blind in what they think. Whether it be mindlessly accepting statements as fact without question because they are super good at the game, or people that are too stuck in their ways to think differently about the game. This prevents true discourse, as no real and productive conversation is made about the game. In either case, even though I know this is not the entirety of Brawlhalla players, enough players have this mindset in both low and high elo, and it is one of the things holding back Brawlhalla from advancing to the next level. If you've been in the Brawlhalla community for any length of time, you will know of a certain YouTuber by the name of Schwerpy. He is the biggest Brawlhalla content creator and is responsible for many things in the Brawlhalla community. Notably the insistence that you only need lands to win, which is unbased and Schwerpy has a lot of influence on game opinion, as most popular content creators do. As such, he bases his opinions of weapons relative to who he plays. His weapon and legend rants are the biggest showcase of this. For instance, because he plays a lot of Scarlet, and I do mean a lot, his most hated matchup is the Axe, purely because of how it matches up against his weapon combination, specifically against Lance. But honestly, it's annoying regardless of what weapon you play, in my opinion. However, this also gives a false impression as to the state of the game perpetuated by his fans. If they see that their favorite content creator says X weapon is broken, they will likely repeat this point to no end until their favorite content creator says otherwise. For instance, Schwerpy made 2 videos about the Axe. In one video, he basically denounces Axe as the dumbest weapon in the game, and in the following video, he goes back slightly on his initial thoughts.
I'm trying to tip the scales here and drop Axe from being broken to being really annoying.
In his most recent weapon annoyance tier list, he even goes as far as to say to not declare Axe, but it could have been really any weapon, as a broken weapon specifically because one person said so.
Despite all this, okay guys, Axe isn't broken. Don't go around yelling Axe is broken because, you know, you saw this one guy in a YouTube video who was pissed out of his mind yelling about how broken it was and thinking it's true. No, not at all. Axe into Lance, it's just the worst matchup ever. That's why I specifically have so much trouble with it.
And yet, this level of thinking, while explicitly not specific to Schwerpy and his fans, is the type of thinking that these players do all the time. You don't question anything for shit. Last year, Isaiah was considered to be one of the, if not the worst legend in Brawlhalla. His signatures were not very reliable, his weapon combination was awkward, and overall was just a very lackluster pick. You would never see this pick in low or high elo unless they play the damn thing. However, at DreamHack Rotterdam in 2019, Boomy pulled it out, and he ultimately won the entire tournament, on the supposed worst legend in the game. Now, did this change my opinion about Isaiah? Not one bit. Boomy could have played any legend to the same level of practice, and his results would be comparable to what he actually plays. For some players, him winning was enough evidence that Isaiah was a good pick. Obviously, this wasn't true for everyone, but I did see enough people support this idea that it was somewhat perplexing to me. Low elo players suffer from this mindset, as they blindly accept anything anyone of any status or rank says or does as Brawlhalla law, and will defend it until the end of the universe. Try looking at Twitch chat the next time you see Cosmix playing and or winning, and you will know exactly what I mean. This mostly applies to things like people saying lands being broken, but this is not the only clause this applies to. In general, low elo players are too impressionable. Some of it stems from a lack of knowledge of the game, but other times it's from being too easily swayed by influencers and pro players. In high elo, things work slightly differently. I'll just come out and say it. High elo Brawlhalla is some of the most frustrating and ridiculous stuff I have ever seen. Take 10 seconds to look at Brawlhalla Twitter and you will see exactly what I am talking about. I mean, literally, people will go as far as to DDoS you if it means that you will not win a game. On a less extreme note, high elo players generally seem to be stuck in their ways, per se. They're a lot more aggressive in their opinions sometimes because they straight up know more about the game. What's more concerning to me is that players also don't take responsibility for anything that happens in Brawlhalla because people's egos get in the way of that. If they lose a game to a broken weapon, it's not their fault for losing, it's the opponent's fault for playing it. If someone gets a disgusting read on you, it isn't their fault for getting read, it's BMG's fault for implementing such a broken system. If you fail to make top 8, it isn't your fault for getting outplayed and outmatched, it's their fault for intentionally disconnecting after getting hit and abusing the system, which is essentially cheating, and it is the organizer's fault that they don't take this tournament seriously.
I won the opening in the last game and he just jumps off. It's so fucking funny. Like, who gives a fuck? I don't think the tourney organizers give a fuck.
Essentially, it's less people blindly accepting what they hear as fact, and more of the fact that some people think that they're so good at the game, they genuinely do not see themselves as the problem, but deflect it on everything but themselves. You cannot have a conversation with these people, as they will always fall back on, the game is fundamentally flawed, and passive parry players suck ass, and hammer is broken. And it's frustrating, because even if all of those things were true all the time, players will continue to rise above and break through those barriers. They may get frustrated and disagree with each other, but they don't make excuses for poor play, and they think about the game actively and frequently. One game I constantly look at is League of Legends. Look at the game from seasons 4 and 5 to the game now. Regions like the LCK used to dominate the scene by their slow and calculated play, and all other regions wanted to be like them. However, teams like G2 Esports, Invictus Gaming, and Fun Plus Phoenix have broken away from the Korean-only mentality and have created their own styles of playing the game, and has found its way into solo queue as well. Oh, and by the way, those teams all found massive levels of success, winning Worlds and MSI, and obviously domestic success as well, while LCK has failed to win anything of international importance since Season 8. The game is much different now, and that is because people put aside their egos, well, some of them at least, to take risks and to advance the game to a new level. And I think that's what's missing in Brawlhalla. It isn't often we see players like Sandstorm with his aggressive playstyle, Wrenched with his extremely patient playstyle, or even Costlix with even just playing Lance at the highest level in the first place. These types of players push the game to new levels and new heights. And the sooner that we, the Brawlhalla community, embrace more open avenues of thought and more discourse about the game, the sooner we can also reach higher levels of prestige and skill. Or you can just keep saying that Lance is broken. It's up to you, honestly.